Welcome to San Diego. I hope that the noise isn't too bad. I have a litter of 4 we're going to go through today. And this is Nibbler, a Nibbler daughter, so Nibbler, Frost, Red back to Frost. And she's a Sable Point, he's a Sable Point. Somebody here carries Pointed and not Rue because all of these are Sable Points and 2 of them are Smutty. 2 of these are Blue Points, 2 of these are Sable Points. When I say all of them are Sable Points, I mean they're Sable Point based. There is no Rue, there is no Seal, so I'm suspicious, and I think that's warranted. There's 2 bucks, 2 does, a blue and a Sable Point, broken and solid. That's how we got 4, and it's inverted on which one's a buck and doe and each baby. One of them had an eye infection as a baby nest box eye, so I'm going to check it and make sure there's no spots. But we're going to start. The reason I chose this litter is it's very controversial. It was an attempt to recreate the dam of the babies, and I don't know if it was successful, but you're wandering out. So let's start with you. Now, the broken doe of this litter had the eye infection. And these 2 feel a little potty, so this is the broken buck. And judging by the eye color, it's a Sable Point. And it feels a little potty, and the 2 brokens do. They must have just eaten. But we have a pretty nice straight hindquarter, good bone, a little long, and not as heavy as I would like it, but the feet are very straight. And the width carries pretty good down the body. Right off the bat, though, because the bone isn't bad, the thickness of the ear isn't bad, so I don't worry about these ears not coming down. But I do worry about the length of ear. It is a buck, and specifically the openness of the ear, which is why when he's upset they get a little pointed, is the base is actually, I know, a little more narrow than I would want, which means the crown is also going to be a little bit more narrow. But the body is good. So, and we have a bit of a temper. Hi. Which means this doe, this is a doe, this is a Blue Point. She's the one with the eye infection, this baby, which means she's going to be much easier to handle because she got treated. But look at that little tight body. Very cute. And very nice and wide. So I'm not too worried about the head. It does taper a little bit in the loin, but that usually comes with age. So he's decent. I have nothing to compare him to, so we'll get sorting later. And of course we're checking teeth, nails. Yeah, this is the doe. And with her, I'm really going to check the eyes. She is a Blue Point. I really do not want to sell someone a rabbit with a DQ. And if there's still a little bit, yeah, there's just a very small cloud. Not a scar, so I just need to treat it a little bit more. And because of that, I might also consider keeping her. But her bone is not as good as the other brokens right off the bat. You can see it's much more narrow. But she's got a wider hindquarter, which is good for does. We need that specifically for does to give birth, and obviously for bucks so that they pass that on to their daughters. But longer bone, again, just very cute body, very upright. She's wider than that buck. Look at that chest, barrel-chested baby girl. Very nice, very nice. She's got more of a loin. She's not bad. Her ears are just really not where I would like to see them. In their defense, they did have a very stressful travel. These were nest box babies when I traveled them down to San Diego, hence how she managed to get a nest box eye. Now, perfect example, Sable Point, Blue Point. It's very subtle, but it's there. This thing is smutty. This does not carry Rue. I don't know what it carries, but it carries something besides Rue. So, that makes me think you are the buck then. Yep, and that makes you a doe. Yeah, so let's start with the buck. And let's move this little lady over, because we're going to go based off of bucks. And then we're going to place best, best opposite, and so on and so forth. Which, I like him. He's got a lot more meat on him. He's not as wide as the Broken Doe, but he's got shorter bone. I really like you. And I already have a junior buck I plan on throwing back from another litter. And of course, I'm gonna check heat. But right out the gate, really like you. And I have someone in Iowa who's looking for a really nice sable point buck. So I could keep him, I could sell him, but for Iowa, it's gonna be a pretty big price tag. Very good chest. Very good chest. Just gonna rotate that so you can see how nice and straight down. So he beats the broken sable point buck. So I guess that makes the blue points are the does, the sable points are the bucks, I think. No, that's a blue point. Woo, that's a blue point. So yeah, blue point buck, broken sable point buck, blue point doe, broken sable point, or blue point buck, broken sable point buck, blue point doe, sable point doe, broken blue point doe, sable point doe. Confused, I know. Considering my brain damage, I'm so sorry. She's got much better ear as well. She's got good width. Oh, I know. And I think she is going to be a keeper. So I guess the two brokens are going. I'm going to keep the two solids just a little bit longer and see how they age. So that would place, which is really sad because I hate placing rabbits at the back of the class or litter that don't deserve it because they're very nice, but when the whole litter is this tightly in the body, I am going to fault heavily on those ears. So out of everybody, we're going to be judging mainly off of head. Like, look at that. Very cute. Very cute. Ooh. So we're going to put the blue point as the best. I'm going to give you something. I don't know, maybe he's just very fat. The sable point as opposite. And then that puts this doe in the back, even though I do prefer her over the buck. So. Yay! Easy peasy, now I just have to tattoo them all. The ear length on the solid doe is the best out of the whole litter, which is good because I am trying to recreate Mom. Mom had an umbilical issue when she was born. She got DQ'd for it constantly, and it wasn't until she was 8 months that the actual wound itself closed and she was no longer carrying a DQ, but at that point she had a nursing litter, and I'm not putting her back on the table. She placed 4th out of 20 in a class, and I was heartbroken that basically what happened is Mom didn't clean her off properly and skin grew over the dried umbilical cord, which led to constant infections. I had to constantly be extracting pieces of this umbilical cord until the body was done rejecting it, and that took 8 months. None of these guys have it. A lot of judges DQ'd it as a hernia, but a hernia is soft and round, whereas this was sharp because it was scar tissue underneath the skin. And Scott Rodriguez, he caught it, and he was like, this isn't a hernia, but it's an abnormality, so she has to get off the table. My goal is to recreate her and put that recreation back in open, so I think I will be keeping the two solids and selling the two brokens.